Hello students, welcome back to MathFace Java programming tutorials. In this video, I'll be explaining you ways to invoke or call methods and passing objects as parameters, returning objects. Let's see the contents. Introduction, ways to invoke a method when passing parameters, that is pass by value or call by value, program in the Java environment, then pass by reference or call by reference. We'll see some programs in the Java environment. Then difference between invoking methods, that is pass by value or pass by reference, the difference. Then Java programs. Let's see introduction. We already know a return type determines whether a method is returning a value or not. If the keyword void is replaced by a class, then the return type is an object of that particular class. For example, main task is calling a subtask, and instead of void, a class name is there, maybe string or any user defined class. Then return that particular object. This is how we call. Now, ways to invoke, different ways to invoke a method. Function or a method can be called in two ways. First one is pass by value, which is also known as call the function by passing value, call by value. So in this method, calling a method is done with the passing of parameters, a copy of parameters. All primitive types are done like this, sent like this by Java. And then pass by reference, which is also known as call by reference, and calling a method by passing address of the parameters, and objects and arrays are passed by this method by Java. Now, pass by value we'll see elaborately. We call a function by passing a value of variable, and it is known as pass by value. Actually, what happens is copy of actual parameters is sent to the formal parameters. We are calling a method sending copy of actual parameters. Any change in the value of formal parameters, where are these formal parameters? At method header. So if the method does any changes to the formal parameters, the actual parameters are not changed. And primitive data types are always passed to a method through pass by value in Java. We'll see with the help of an example what is all these things, what are all these things. So class call by value is there, and two static methods. First one is swap, second one is main. Let's understand main method first of all. Two variables are declared and initialized. We can accept them also. What are they? X is 5, y equals to 3. Then we are printing values of x and y before calling swap method. The next line is calling swap method. Both of them are static, so swap, and I pass x comma y. These are actual parameters. So x is 5, y is 3. A copy of 5 and 3 will go get stored in the swap header, that is int a, int b. So x 5, y 3. A copy of 5 and 3 will go get stored in a and b. Java does this. So actual parameters sent to the method header and formal parameters have received them. Now swap function. Swap means what? Let's suppose we have two glasses. In one glass we have juice, second glass we have milk. But we want to exchange the juice glass should contain milk, milk glass should contain juice, let's suppose. This is used in sorting operations. So it is a very, very, very important concept. So what we do, we cannot directly pour milk in the juice glass. It will overflow. So what we need is we need a temporary glass, a third glass. C is the variable. In C, whatever is there in A glass, we pour. Now A glass is empty. Now whatever is there in B, we try to pour in A. That means int C is equal to A in computer terminology. C variable contains the contents of A variable. Now A variable, we want to store whatever is there in B. And in B, we store whatever is there in C. That is from third class, we want to pour whatever is there in third class into second class. So this way you can exchange or swap the values without losing the contents. There is another way also doing the same task using plus minus operators. Now system.out.println values in A and B. Because swap has three statements, change the values. Now A and B will contain 3 and 5 instead of 5 and 3. Look at the picture this side. Main method, actual parameters are x is equal to 5, y is equal to 3. Swap is being called. X comma y is sent. And copy went and stored in int A and int B. Before swapping, A was 5, B was 3. But after those three statements, A became 3 and B became 5. And it prints 3, 5. But this particular process did not change x and y, that is actual parameters, because copy has been sent. Copy has been sent. Now, after calling swap in main method, if I print system.out.println values of x and y, it prints 5 and 3, both the types, because x and y are separate for main method, local variables, and A and B are local variables for swap method. This is about pass by value, which we understand this. But let's see a Java program first of all, then understand pass by reference. Now let's see the contents of call by value. Here static void main is there. X is 5, y is 3. And values of x and y before calling swap will print 5, 3. After calling swap what we do, into some temporary variable we take, we store the contents of A. And in A, we put the contents of B. And in B, we put the contents of temp. These are the three statements which swap. Now, if we print values of A and B in swap is A, B, it prints 3, 5 for AB. But over here, 2 times it will print x and y, which is 5 and 3. Both of them are local variables. Here also local variables. Control K and execute call by value main method. Okay. It is printing x and y before calling swap is 5 and 3. After calling swap is 5 and 3 only. But A and B in swap is 3 and 5. So this is pass by value. We are not actually changing the actual parameters. But in reference, we change the actual parameters. Let's see how. Okay, pass by reference or call by reference. Calling a method by passing address or giving alias name. We see for children, we have two names. One is original name, second one is some pet name or alias name. Both of them refer to the same child. So calling a method by passing address or alias name of the actual parameter is known as pass by reference. Any change in formal parameter changes the contents of actual parameters because we are sending the address of actual parameters. So the method can change the contents of the address. Now, objects of classes and arrays are called using pass by reference in Java, that is fixed. All primitive data types pass by value. All objects and arrays using reference, that is address. Let's see an example. Class reference has two instance variables, a comma b. Now, read method is an instance method. Disp method is an instance method. They can directly access instance variables. Now, two methods, static methods are there. First one is void swap, static void swap. Second one is main method. Now we know that static methods, if they want to use the instance methods or variables, they need to create an object. So let's understand what is written in main method. Reference R1 is equal to new reference, creating an object because we want to call the methods, instance methods. This will create in the memory R1 object, right side you see a hypothetical representation, which has A and B instance variables. Now R1 dot read, we are calling a read method and sending 3 and 5 to read method. These are integers, so pass by value. 3 will be stored in X, 5 will be stored in Y. They are further stored in A and B, common variables, which can be used everywhere in the class. So now object R1, if you see the right side, because of read method, R1 dot A has 3, R1 dot B has 5. Now R1 dot disp method. Display method, control goes to display method and prints A and B with a space. So 3 and 5 are displayed. Understand? Before calling swap, it will print 3 comma 5, 3 space 5. Now swap R1. Swap is a static method. It can be called directly without object. So a swap R1, we are sending an object as a parameter. Immediately Java sends the address. So this R1's address, whatever is there in the memory, will be stored at the method header, that is formal parameter reference R2 is receiving. R2 is of reference class object. R1 reference class object. So R1's address is sent to R2. If you see the picture, now address of R1 is stored in R2 and R2 is also referring that same area where R1 is there, address. Both of them are referring to the same area. But R1 is the name used by main method. R2 is the name used by swap method. But pass by reference or pass by address is used. Now R2 is an object. So the same swap program, but little bit change. See that picture only, swap reference R2. Those red colored lines I have rewritten above the picture. Int temp is equal to R2 dot A. What is R2 referring? R1 area only. So R2 dot A, it understands. So in temp, it has stored 3 because r2 dot a is equal to 3. Now in r2 dot a area, write down whatever is there in r2 dot b. That is, now the object looks like a also 5, b also 5, r2 dot a, because both of them are having the same values, 5, 5. But last statement, R2 dot B is equal to temp. There is one mistake over here, double B is written, but R2 dot B is equal to temp. Whatever is there in temp should be stored in R2 dot B. So because of these three statements, A became 5, B became 3, and the original R1 object is changed, the values, because of swap method. Once these three statements are executed, the memory R1, A will be 5, B will be 3 because of swap method. Now, if we display R1.disp method, if we invoke, 5 and 3 would be printed because of address is being sent. This is what is passed by reference. Let's see a Java program now. Let's see the contents of reference. A and B instance variables, read is reading. These are call by value. Then static void swap, reference R2 it is receiving. Int C is equal to R2 dot A, R2 dot A is equal to R2 dot B, R2 dot B is equal to C. And A, B are being displayed. Created an object R1. Read method is an instance method. So from object or instance, we are calling R1 dot read, sending some 3, 5. Values of R1 object before calling swap method is 3 and 5 it will display. Now swap method is called. R1 is an object, so address is sent to R2. Now we are swapping the values of R2. Actually, it is changing the contents of actual parameters because object is sent. Now after swap, if we display, instead of 3, 5, it will display 5, 3. Let's see. Control K. Reference main method we are calling because the other static method is a private method. And R1 object before calling swap is 3, 5 and after calling is 5, 3. So this is what is called by reference. All objects are sent like this. Now, but string is an immutable object, means cannot be changed. Although string is a class, object even if we send, it cannot be changed. Only garbage collector can delete it. That's it. The contents of strings cannot be changed. So it won't work like ordinary the way I have shown you. For example, void read is there. Both of them are instance methods. String A is equal to some Anand. Join A, I'm calling and sending A as a parameter. It is sent as a reference, definitely. String is a class. A is an object. Object is sent with address only. But if I use first is equal to this first A, first it has gone, the address is same, but first is equal to Mr. dot first plus first. This is concatenation operator. Mr. Anand, I want to store in first. A and first belong to the same memory location. But when I print, it prints only Anand, but not Mr. Anand. Why? Because strings cannot be changed. So Control K instead of printing Mr. Anand, after join program is called also the method, it prints only Anand. Let's understand immutable. For that, for mutable objects, we need buffer reader class, string buffer class, not buffer reader, string buffer. So I'm calling read method. Read method is further calling join method. We can make this as private, then it will not be shown to the object because I want the user to use only read method, control A, and then check, create an object. I can see only read method now. Anand it is saying because strings are immutable, cannot be changed. So, how do we do? Because they cannot be changed. So, we create a new variable. For example, void read string A is equal to Anand, B is equal to Vihari, and gender is male. These are the three different variables we have. But as a programmer, I want to print Mr. Anand Vihari somewhere. Welcome, login. Welcome to your login. Something like that. They keep displaying. So for that, string full name. This join is a method which is returning a string. So string full name is a variable in which I want to store, although it is passed by reference A and B, but strings are immutable. A is Anand, stored in first, B last, addresses only, and G, that is gender, is character passed by value. I have created a new string because immutable. In this, if gender is equal to M, name is equal to new variable Mr. plus first plus last. That is Mr. Anand Vihari. Else Miss plus gender is anyway, we have male. Now full name, it is returning name. So although it is passed by reference, we should be careful with strings because strings are immutable. So better to return a new string by storing. Now return name will store in full name. What is it? Mr. Anand Bihari will be stored here and we will be printing full name. So let's make this private. First of all, we don't want to see this method. We want the user to use only read method. So name, new name, right click, void read method, which will display Mr. Anand Bihari. So with strings, we should be careful, although it is a built-in class. Let's see the differences. Pass by value, pass by reference. Calling a method by passing values of parameters is known as pass by value. Copy we are sending. Now calling a method by passing the address of parameters is known as pass by reference. Now primitive data types are passed using this method in Java, and objects and arrays are passed using pass by reference. The changes made in formal parameters do not change the value of actual parameters or arguments, but the changes made in formal parameters reflect in the actual arguments. This is about pass by value, pass by reference when we are sending objects as parameters. Refer chapter 3 of Essentials of Computer Applications for practice exercises. And the next video is about different programs on object passing and returning. So far we just have understood the concept. Now we will see some programs in the next video. Thank you.